It is the end of the week. It is the end of the month. Good morning. It is 6 o'clock Atlantic Standard Time. I am Mervyn Henley of THG Network, and this is THG News Today. We have lots that took place yesterday, and it was only a few weeks ago we changed the format here at THG, where Friday is normally a light day. We present an interview, a commentary, or whatever the case may be. But the news that broke yesterday and overnight, it was too important for us not to reporting it this morning. So that is what we're doing. The news, of course, is powered by our good friends. They're Carl & Sons on St. Martin and Feezers on Nevis. If this is your first time visiting the channel, we ask that you subscribe, so that you do not miss any information that is disseminated on a daily basis. Let's get started. And of course, the world yesterday, we were all watching the verdict countdown of the former president of the United States. And hopefully he remains former president. That's Donald Trump. He's now officially a convicted felon. Donald Trump was found guilty yesterday falsifying business records to cover up a hush money payment to a porn star, making him the first former president to become a convicted felon. The unanimous verdict from the 12-person jury ends a 6-week trial in which prosecutors accused Trump of orchestrating an illegal conspiracy to influence the 2016 presidential election. Now Trump will have a criminal record as he seeks to become president again. Trump was convicted on all 34 felony counts brought by prosecutors. As the jury foreperson read the verdict, Trump looked forward to the jury box. After the foreperson finished reading the verdict, the former president looked straight ahead, appearing somewhat red in the face. Then, as the jurors individually confirmed that they agreed with the verdict, Trump stared at them according to Political News. It now falls to the judge, that's Justice Merchant, to determine Trump's sentence. He scheduled the sentencing for July 11th, 4 days before the Republican National Convention begins. Falsifying business records carries a maximum sentence of 4 years in prison, but because the crime is non-violent and Trump has no prior convictions, any prison time is far from guaranteed. The justice judge could opt instead for home confinement, probation, or a milder form of supervised release. However you want to put it though, what has happened is that Donald Trump is now a convicted felon. And meanwhile, of course, we expect him to appeal the verdict. Meanwhile, he stands accused of additional wide-ranging criminal conduct in Florida. Well, that ain't going nowhere because that judge right there, she has drank the Trump's Kool-Aid, so that one is not going anywhere. Awaiting decision from the Supreme Court. They have to decide this. But he also has criminal matters in Washington, D.C. and also in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah? So that's it as far as former President Trump is concerned. And hopefully he remains former President Trump. Now, from that into another case. Yesterday, we heard from the Supreme Court in Jamaica, and they have ruled that dancehall entertainer Vybz Kartel and his co-accused to remain behind bars pending a decision in the Court of Appeal on whether they should be retried for murder. The court's decision yesterday followed an application before Justice Andrea Thomas, seeking the release of Kartel, whose given name is Adidja Palmer, Sean Storm Campbell, and Andre St. John. In March, the Privy Council quashed the men's murder convictions, citing juror misconduct, and sent the case back to the Court of Appeal for a ruling on whether they should be retried. The matter is set for June 10th. So on June 10th, we will know whether the matter will be retried. So it can just be in about 10 days, just about, that Vybz Kartel, he will be out, or he will remain until the matter is retried if they decide to go that route. The men were convicted in 2014 for Clive Lizard Williams' murder in 2011. Williams was allegedly killed after he failed to return 2 unlicensed guns given to him by Kartel for safekeeping. Williams has not been seen or heard from since then. Kartel and his co-accused denied any involvement in the killing of Williams. For those of you who have been following closely the politics and what's happening with the Citizenship by Investment program, we know that this so-called company called MSR Media has reportedly filed, as we know, a lawsuit against the National Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, the 2 former prime ministers, along with private citizens, and someone from St. Lucia. This suit also named that person from St. Lucia by the name of McLeod Emmanuel, the head of St. Lucia's Citizenship by Investment program. He's a co-defendant. However, Prime Minister Phillip J Pierre, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, addressed the matter during a pre-cabinet press briefing, clarifying the status of the alleged lawsuit. He stated with frustration that no official documentation regarding the lawsuit has been received by St. Lucia's CIP agency. No one has received anything, according to Loop St. Lucia. No documentation has reached Claude's hands. It hasn't reached anywhere. This is just paper that you are reading and a man is talking. And this is according to the Prime Minister, emphasizing the lack of formal communication on the issue. The Prime Minister further remarked that St. Lucia remains committed to regional cooperation, promising that the country will sign the Memorandum of Agreement with its regional counterparts once all contractual obligations to developers are fulfilled. The Prime Minister also called for unity among citizens, urging them not to let opposition efforts undermine the integrity of St. Lucia's citizenship investment program. I agree with the Prime Minister with that. He accused opposition leader Alan Chastanet of attempting to tarnish the country's reputation for political gain. There are some things we can disagree on. We can disagree on education policy, investment policy, unemployment, even crime. But when you join with international fraudsters to damage your country, and of course the Prime Minister is referring to the head of this so-called MSR Media, Philip Martinez or whatever his name is, the record has shown that he is a convicted felon or whatever he is. And so that is how the Prime Minister of St. Lucia preferred to refer to him, as this international fraudster. He continued by saying, but when you join with the international fraudsters to damage your country because you believe you'll get some gain, when you pray that we lose the visa, that there is a visa revocation, when you pray that your ministers get arrested or go to jail for years, when you pray for these things, who loses the most? The people of the country, Prime Minister stated passionately. And we're following the latest developments on this MSR Media. He's making the rounds, the lawsuit there also on St. Kitts, as I just mentioned. They did the bank and the private citizens and two former prime ministers there. We'll see where this goes. There's so much to talk about regarding MSR Media, but I'm not going to do that today because we have lots of news to cover. We continue with news out of St. Kitts, according to WinFM News. The plant quarantine unit at the Department of Agriculture notified the general public of a disease outbreak affecting mango trees on the island. According to a report from the Department of Agriculture, initial assessments suggest that the disease may be caused by a combination of environmental factors, pathogens, and possibly new strains of pests, adding that the symptoms are consistent with a fungal disease that can severely impact mango fruit production and quality. A team of plant health experts have been working meticulously to diagnose the disease and introduce potential control measures. Farmers have been encouraged to exercise vigilance and report any suspected disease cases to the Department of Agriculture. The following precautionary measures were suggested to prevent the spread of the disease: quarantine, pruning of affected areas, sanitation, plant monitoring, and research and development. Once the disease and its origin are officially confirmed, the plant quarantine unit will implement a comprehensive treatment plan to address the outbreak. The Department of Agriculture on St. Kitts said it understands the significant impact this issue has on local agriculture and is making every effort to identify the cause and develop an effective treatment plan. And finally, in our news this morning out of Jamaica, a 3-year-old boy is dead while 5 other people are nursing injuries following a chopping incident in St. Mary on Wednesday. Police have identified the deceased as Asher Campbell of St. Mary. Another child is among those wounded. It is reported that the victims were attacked by a man believed to be of unsound mind. According to police, between the hours of 3:30 and 4 p.m., Asher was walking with family members when he was attacked with an iron pipe and a knife. In her efforts to stop the attack, the boy's mother and 5 others were injured as they received chop wounds to different parts of their bodies. The police were alerted and the wounded persons were taken to the hospital. The young boy was pronounced dead on arrival. 1 person was treated and discharged. The others remain hospitalized. Police say the suspect has been apprehended. A man of unsound mind just decided to see a 3-year-old little boy and chopped him to death. Knifed him, ironed him with an iron pipe. Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica. Andrew Holness, Andrew Holness, Andrew Holness, Mr. Prime Minister. Every day. That is our news for this morning. It has been a pleasure to be with you this morning and for the entire week. I want you to have yourselves a safe and blessed weekend. We're doing some maintenance, site maintenance, YouTube channel maintenance, and we'll try to be here with you on Monday morning, God's willing. If you do not hear from us, please understand why. We're just updating and upgrading, but we'll try our very best to be with you here on Monday morning. Yeah? So until then, you take care. I am Mervyn Henley, and I am wishing you and yours a wonderful day.
Sons have been serving the people of St. Martin for over 40 years, and the food and service get better and better. From early morning, customers flock to the bakery for their favorite sandwiches, cakes, pastries, you name it. First thing at mornings and last thing at afternoons, folks rush to Sons for simply the best. There are two locations, Colbay and on the Pondville. In Colbay, the opening hours are Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturdays, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Sundays, 6:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Opening hours on the Pondville, Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also cater for weddings, parties, special events, whatever the occasion. It's Sons. Our staff, we are always happy to serve you. Call us today, the Colbay location, 721-544-2462. That's 721-544-2462. Or in Phillipsburg, 721-543-1059. That's 721-543-1059. It's Sons Bakery. We are here to serve you. Nevis, satisfy your sweet tooth at Feezer's, the cozy spot in Charlestown, known for its mouth-watering ice cream and dal parade. We are open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come in and sample our patties, sandwiches, air-fried wings with fries, hot dogs, rotis, and now our famous smoothies, in all flavors of course. And don't forget to try the famous bus-up shut and saltfish. It's Feezer's, located at the entrance to the Cotton Jewelry Mall in Charlestown, Nevis. They're also available by phone, so place your order by calling 1-869-665-2458. Don't ask about the rest, just try the best.